So I was thinking we could do some sort of adapted paintbrush for students who have trouble gripping or reaching the paper. So this is just one of our standard paintbrushes. It's long and kind of skinny, and I'm going to try it with Eddie here. Getting it into his hand is kind of difficult, and then having him hold it on his own while he moves the paintbrush is a little difficult. So normally we just kind of slide it into his hand. And for him, I guess he holds it a little. Oh, this one he kind of is holding. So he can, that's how he holds it. He can hold it on his own. Let's try if we do his other hand, kind of get it in. So maybe a way that it can grip it so we can hold it a little better. If it's up, if this arm is up, it's easier to do.
Or maybe even if it had a bend in it.
Yeah, if it had a bend, because they're kind of just straight and rigid. So that's Eddie. Maybe we could try Adam too. Adam doing it.
Can I film you, Mr. Aleem?
He says, of course you can. So Adam, he isn't gripped, so he has to hold on to the paintbrush a little different than Eddie. So getting him to hold the paintbrush is different than Eddie, because Eddie just kind of slides it in. So that's how Adam just kind of has to hold it himself. So if he were painting, see, it drops out of his hand. So we kind of have to keep getting it in there. Good job, Adam. So when we kind of have to hold his hand shut if we want him to hold on to it, or else it'll kind of maybe go flying. Thanks, Adam. So then we would just paint.
Right.
But now he's got it into a grip. So some sort of adapted paintbrush. Thank you.
Hi guys. So one of the things that we've been thinking about that you might be able to help us with is helping our students access the iPad. I'm sure, like many of you, our students really enjoy working on the iPad, but for many of our students, because they don't have very good fine motor skills, that is, they can't use their hands and fingers very well, it's hard to access the iPad. So what we've tried to do is actually create something that helps them do things on the iPad. So I originally created something really kind of funny looking to help them access the iPad. I used a racquetball with a hole in it, and then inside the hole I put a stylus. So the stylus would fit inside the hole, and then I had to wrap this copper wire around it to make the conductivity, and then cover that with tape. But the problem, as you can see, is that the racquetball, the rubber cracks. So it ultimately doesn't hold the stylus very well, and plus the ball is actually deeper than the stylus is, so the stylus ends up falling inside the ball. So one thing we were thinking would be great if somebody could design this for us is a ball like this that has a cylindrical hole going down the middle that would fit our little stylus, and maybe we could put a little clay or something like that to hold the stylus down in the middle, and that way it would allow our students to hold the ball like this with the stylus and access the iPad, because a lot of our students, they can't use their fingers, and this would work really well inside their palm. So if somebody's up to that challenge, that would be awesome. Thank you so much. So here are the components of my adapted stylus right now. I have a racquetball, and you can see I've split it so I can put the stylus in there. And then on this side, I've actually drilled a little hole. I'm sorry that's blurry, but there's a little hole on the opposite side through which to thread wire. And then I have actually the stylus right here, and it's just a standard stylus. And at the back end, I have put some copper wire, and then the copper wire goes all the way down to the end. So I'm going to thread that through my racquetball. Go.
Hey guys, I'm Becky Fernandez. I'm a teacher over here at Key Center School, and I have a request for you. My students are very hands-on, and they love to play with toys and objects, just like I'm sure a lot of you do. These are TheraBands, and we use these to attach toys to their desks and their trays for Riften chairs or wheelchairs. And we have students who like to play with toys, and sometimes when they're finished they might throw them or drop them onto the ground. So this is a way to keep them on the tray. So these objects have a hole in them so that the TheraBand is able to go through it. Any object that would be entertaining and would be visually stimulating to the kid that they'll enjoy playing would be awesome. So shapes, cars, slinkies. I've also put beads on here, and they love it. It helps with their fine motor skills, and they enjoy playing with it, and we'd really appreciate if you guys can make them for us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Sure. I'm a teacher here at Key Center, and this is, can you say your name? Matani. Matani has a hard time with spoons, so let me show you what he does, and I can tell you what I think we need for him. So when he picks up a spoon, this is how he holds it. He holds it inside his hand with his back 3 fingers, and his pointer finger comes down and gets on the bowl of the spoon itself. Now, with something like this, he has chocolate pudding today. It's not so bad because his finger just kind of gets a little chocolatey. But when he has something that has noodles on it or potatoes on it or something with pieces, this finger here either impedes them from getting on the spoon at all or pushes them off when they get on there. So what I think would help him, let go for a second, thank you, is a spoon with maybe a little bit more of a round handle that was a little bit something harder to grab or easier to grab, and then something to block his finger from going in this space so that he cannot get his finger down here, so that it has to stay on that side. I think that would help his grip, and I know it would help him eat his pudding and everything else, right? Right. Thanks.
Hi, I teach an elementary classroom over at Key Center, and we use a picture schedule a lot for the kids to reinforce what they are doing throughout the day. This is difficult for some students with vision issues because it is hard for them to see, and it is more beneficial for them to have items that relate to the schedule that will support what they are doing. For example, for a mealtime, breakfast, or lunch, a spoon is something that they could actually hold on to in their hands. For a math lesson, we could create shapes that would give them some tactile input so that they would know what was coming up. And for reading, they can hold a book and feel a book.
All right, go.
Okay, this is the schedule that we use every day and kind of change out the different activities. So what I am looking for some of my students with more visual difficulty are objects to represent each one of the items that we do during the day. So for instance, in the morning we do coffee time, and I have a coffee mug. So I'm looking for a little item that I can attach on that the students can feel to know what's coming next in the schedule.
Okay, I'm looking for a device for a student who can fill a container with specific amounts of those items. So I was thinking a box of some sort, and it does not have to be long, but with open holes throughout the top. His goal is to then fill those spots with the pegs that came out of them. So it does not matter how many go across. It could be 5, it could be 7, but then I'll need the item in that empty hole for him to then fill in accordingly.
Hi, Key Middle students. My name is Dolores Witcher, and I'm an occupational therapist, and I work with students with severe intellectual disabilities at Key Center. And I appreciate your willingness to partner with me in helping me create a fork for a student who has difficulties feeding himself with a level of independence. I have a fork. It's really hard sometimes to find specific types of forks for specific individuals. There are a lot of companies that make adaptive forks, but I needed one that looks exactly like this one, that has this kind of a bend to enable this young man to be able to feed himself with a limited amount of assistance. If you've noticed, the fork is a plastic. I needed a heavy kind of a grade plastic fork, but not one that was so rigid that if he bit it, because sometimes he bites hard on things, that a piece would come off. But yet I needed it to not be so flexible that it wasn't good enough to be able to pierce food. And so I've come up with this angle because this is absolutely the best angle for him. And if you notice on the handle, there's a piece of moleskin and tape which provides sort of a raised surface, and I need it to be raised right there so that it will fit securely into a hand splint that he wears. So anything that you could produce that would be close to this model, I would sincerely appreciate, and it would be a tremendous help to this young man. I can't wait to see what you're going to do.
Okay, so this is Diego, and Diego really likes different sensory experiences. This is a rough cardboard, and then we have like sandpaper, and then up here we have, can you give me your hand? Velcro. And what we'd like to make for Diego is a cube, basically 8 sides, I guess a cube has, however many sides a cube has. And each side should have a different texture. Like they could have ridges or bumps or be rough or something like Velcro. And it could be sort of 4 by 4 by 4. So I think that would be a nice challenging design. And if you could help us out, we would really appreciate it. Thank you. Hi guys, so here's another idea of a really cool thing that you could make for us that would benefit our students greatly. It looks really simple, and it is. It's just a single tube, hollow tube here, and then an elbow joint and an elbow joint. And you can see it's hollow, and it's lightweight, which is nice. And what we use something like this for is for a student to put one end to their ear and the other end to their mouth, and it's like playing telephone. But the great thing and what benefits our students is it allows them to hear their own voice very clearly. So if they have some type of auditory processing difficulties, this helps them hear themselves talk. So a device like this could be made in 3 parts with a single hollow tube and then 2 hollow elbow joints that will fit around this tube. And the measurements that you'll need if you decide to make something like this, we could measure from a student's mouth to their ear. So I hope you decide to do something like this. It would really benefit our students a lot. Thank you so much.
Hey guys!
guys, thanks so much for looking at some stuff to make for us over here at Key Center using your cool new 3D equipment. I am actually curious if you guys could make a 3D model of the state of Virginia that could possibly include all 5 regions. Maybe if the regions broke apart, that would be even cooler. Let me know if you can do that. Thanks so much.
Okay, so I need something to help our students practice using the can crusher. So this is a can crusher. Use a regular size soda can. And what our students need to do is they need to turn the soda can at an angle, get it inside this opening, and then they drop the can. Okay, if I turn the machine on the side, you can see that it's a tube here, and it's at an angle. All right, so I would like to have a tube. We measured the soda can, and 5 inches is fine. I'd like a tube that the soda can would fit in so the students can practice fitting the soda can in the opening. I'd also like to have a base made so it would hold up the tube.
At an angle.
Yeah, at an angle. Thank you.